Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Here you are. Welcome back to the Nora Show, everyone. It's been a little bit. I apologize. Life happened. Everything's fine. I just got entirely too busy. I managed everything. Time to sew. Okay, where were we? I have a gray linen that is washed, not ironed yet. Got matching thread. This is lovely. I absolutely love this. This is so, so pretty. And I have a pattern that I have drafted out. It is a short sleeve, summer weight, gray linen suit from the early 1940s, probably just before World War II, bleeding into it. So this would be a very nice, anything before 1945, this would be perfectly acceptable. We are going to cut out the muslin for the jacket today. And I'm going to try to sew all that together and see if I need to make any changes. I already made changes to the draft of the skirt. That was a previous video. And now it's the bodice, jacket, suit that we are going to take care of. Time to sew. Okay, everyone, I have the front done and I have the back done. I like where everything is. I think the big thing that I need to keep an eye on is this. This is going to be the design feature that I absolutely have to nail. No puckering. It needs to be perfectly even on both sides. It needs to lay extremely well. So this is the point to take my time on. I'm going to have very nice buttons. I should probably order buttons now because I don't think that I have. This is going to be special. And I'm pretty sure that I don't have buttons that reflect the level of special this is. So I'm going to go on to Etsy or eBay and find some vintage black buttons that will really be pretty. All right. And I need to remember that this is not just a 1/2 inch seam allowance. I need to have something that flips under and can handle a stabilizing area of buttons coming down. I don't want any puckering or pulling, so this needs to be very stable. So this needs to be a little bit wider so that it can flip under. I need to determine exactly what kind of top stitching or how this is going to come together. I personally think that the top stitching, you can see it in red here, is the way to go. I don't think that I'm going to sandwich, sew, and then flip and then iron out on this side at all. I do have the sleeves, but I think it's going to be more of a waste of my time than anything else because these are the exact same sleeves as I have been sewing on everything thus far, and this is absolutely perfect. So funny enough, I don't think I'm actually going to change anything. I think this is going to work out just fine. All right, between the skirt and this, I think that I'm ready to start cutting out some linen. I also need to confirm that I can actually fit all of these patterns on the fabric that I have. I only have so much, and I'm really pressing like the dimensions of what I have to be able to do everything that I just said that I think I'm going to be able to do, or that I'm planning on doing. So this may end up just being a gray linen skirt with a whole lot of linen left over. I don't know yet. The linen ended up being a lot wider than I was expecting, so maybe this will work. I'll find out tomorrow. I think at this point I'm going to clean up my room, set up my patterns to cut out patterns, and I'm going to iron my linen, basically set myself up really well for tomorrow, because I think I am running out against the time now of being able to get the kids from school, get them where they're supposed to go, and just in general, you know, do that mom thing. So, tomorrow. Okay, everyone. It's the next day. I've got my laundry done. The kids are at school. I exercised. I did the laundry. I'm going to vacuum the house later. The dog gets a bath later as well. But while everyone is at school, I'm going to go ahead and clear off the kitchen table because it's the largest place that I've got for huge material. And I'm going to iron the linen, lay out the linen, lay out the patterns, and the goal today, the sole goal today, is to somehow make everything fit properly. Because you can't just do things willy-nilly on, you know, you got to follow the grain and you got to actually make sure that all the lines are going the same way. This doesn't have a pattern necessarily, but I am very sure that if I start turning pieces, just the way that the light multi-grained effect that this fabric has, I really need to keep this all in one direction. So that is the only goal that I have today. Just lay out the pattern, try to cut it out, and I need to take it very, very slow on determining exactly how much seam allowance that I actually want on everything, how I'm doing the inside of things, whether I'm using a serger or if I'm binding it or if I'm doing a roll fell thing that you then whip stitch. Ooh, I'm so professional. Yeah, that's the technical term. And let me think. And I need to make sure that I am aware of double sides for collars, anything that flips open. I don't think this one doesn't have a collar, so it just goes around and down, but that edge needs to be very clean. And I need to determine if I'm doing a top stitch or if I'm going to get a decorative trim around it. So this is a thinking process day and a pattern cutout. On the other hand, I could get all of this completely laid out and I could find out I can't get all the patterns on the material. And at that point in time, I'm going to have a gray linen skirt and I'm going to call it good and just keep going, and then I have some nice gray linen in my stash for decorative insides. Who knows? I don't care. Maybe a matching purse. A hat. Ooh, I'll make a hat. Okay, so it'll be a gray linen skirt and then like a gray hat, and at some point I'll make a black blazer to be able to, or a jacket that'll go with it, and then black shoes and I can mess with this so that it makes sense. Okay, go. I'd like to just say that I'm in love with my hair. This haircut really worked out for me. I can't believe I finished this. I am so darn pleased. Oh my goodness. Well, like all linen, it wrinkles if you think about it, but it's linen. It is lightweight, it is soft, it's machine washable, everything's serged on the inside so I can use the machine, and I'm rather pleased. Now, the only interesting, odd part about this, let me think, there are two interesting parts. Okay, let's talk about this first. This little design here, I like the way I set it in. I don't know if it was a traditional method. I don't know if I did that correct, but I do like how well it came together. And I did a double seam just for effect right there. I really like it. And then the other interesting part is this. If you stand properly with your shoulders back and you stand up, it fits. It fits well. It looks perfectly fine. If I actually stand like a modern human, it doesn't fit. So this is very much where the clothing is really dependent on if I actually stand up straight, pull back those shoulders, and lift the head, and it makes sense, and I'm okay with that concept, because if you ever take a look at any of the silhouettes of those wearing the dress in that time period, you're looking at a very upright, regal figure and look. The way you moved was very conscientious. It was planned. It was something that was trained. It was practiced. And we don't do that now. We do not treat our bodies as art forms of movement unless you are specifically dancing or something. So in general, this, it doesn't happen. However, I do have to say that this is correct posture for me, so I should just go ahead and do that. So yeah, I love this. I love every part of this. Okay, let me think. The sewing wasn't difficult. Linen was interesting because it wanted to shift a little bit as I was sewing, so it would easily do the ruffle thing when I sewed if I wasn't very, very careful. So other than that, though, I would say this was a very lovely project. I am looking forward to working with more linen. Aren't these absolutely fabulous? Look at those. Okay, everyone. My next project, I've got a couple on the burner. At some point very soon, I'm going to do a underpinnings video describing the silhouette and the measurements and how those change depending on what you're wearing underneath everything. That's vital that you know your measurements when you sew and your underpinnings, your undergarments. Those change everything. I don't care who you are, that changes things. And then the other project, I have some green silk that I have, and it is nice. It's really a vibrant green, and it's got gold striping through it. And I also happen to have some black velvet, like 5 yards. So what I want to do is make a 1920s evening coat lined with the green silk which I also happen to have just enough of to also make a 1920s evening. And I don't want to say flapper because I wasn't a flapper, and that is an overused word. I wouldn't have been a flapper, but I would have absolutely dressed very elegant and gone out and had some fun. So we're going to go ahead and make sure that I have an evening dressy dress because I haven't sewn one yet. So it's now time to sew a coat, and it's time to sew an evening fancy dress. And I don't know where I'm going to wear it. I don't care. I should have one in my wardrobe. And I think green's going to look fabulous on me. All right. Okay, everyone, stay fabulous. Go do something fun. Be creative. Drink your water. And take care of yourself. Bye, all.